Hi everyone, I'm Cadet Levri, and today I'll be giving a brief demonstration of the John Tiller Modern Air Power software that we're going to use for the AWLE this semester. So this is not a very intuitive game, so it's very important that you play around with it a little bit beforehand just to familiarize yourself with how it works, especially for the team leads. I will be hosting a Q&A session at a later date for the 200s who are going to be leading this. But the first thing that you're going to see once you open the program, once you have it downloaded and installed, is this file selection dialog box right here. So this is basically just your scenario selector. So you've got all these different scenarios you can do up here on the top right. But the one we're going to do today is the getting started scenario. So down here you can see the description. You play the scenario to learn the basics of play. And the goal is to fly a strike mission against the enemy, bomb their nuclear facility, and protect your assets from enemy interceptors. And it also says that there might be a SAM site. So SAM sites are bad news because those are surface-to-air missiles. They'll shoot you down if you fly within their range. And then we got to protect our strike group from enemy fighters. So you want to pay attention to this briefing because this is going to indicate what your mission objectives are for the scenario. So we're just going to hit OK. This is going to present us with the map. So we want to know how to be able to move around the map. We're pretty far out right now, so we can zoom in a little bit. And I highly suggest that you get a mouse for this because zooming is controlled by the mouse wheel or the trackpad, and it's really annoying to be able to have to use a trackpad for this. So yeah, highly suggest you get a mouse. Moving around the map can be done with the arrow keys. So here I'm hitting the left arrow key right now and up. But you can also turn your attention to the bottom right of the screen, bottom right corner of the screen, and there's this little mini map. And you can click on there, and that'll move your red box, which is just your view of the whole map around the mini map. So that's a little convenient tool. And so we have all these icons on the map. These two green worded icons are air bases. This is Sunan and Seoul. Seoul is friendly, Sunan is not friendly, as you can see, because this is a map of Korea. Right here, this is the border, the demilitarized zone. And you can also see the nuclear facility, that's our target, and flight of F-22s. So in order to select a flight, we can just right-click on it. And then you can read info about them on the bottom left. So this is the stat card. You've got your aircraft type, so it's the F-22. We're currently at cruising altitude, so this here on the right are your different altitudes you can be at. You can be cruising or low. Down here is our speed, so we can go slow, medium, or high speed. That's our top speed. And down here, this 1232 nautical miles is the distance we can travel before we have to refuel. And over here, bingo, Winchester, refueling. These all indicate certain things about the status of the aircraft. Bingo fuel just means you only have enough fuel to get back to base, so you need to return immediately. Winchester means you have no weapons left, and refueling means you're in flight refueling with a tanker. There's a tutorial on how to do that as well. That may or may not come up in the scenario. Over here, you have the weapons. It's not really important that you know what the weapons are. The orange one is a long-range air-to-air missile. The white one is, or the one that's selected now, is a short range. It's just important that you know its mission. So this one is air superiority. So that means it's going to be attacking enemy fighters. So once you have a flight of aircraft selected, you can tell them to go somewhere. And to do that, after you've left-clicked on the flight, you can just right-click anywhere on the map, and that will set a destination. So in this particular scenario, you have the F-22s, and then we need our strike group. So they're located at this airbase in Seoul. So we can right or double-click on the airbase, on the Seoul base, and that brings up a squadron of F-15Es. So they're armed with these bombs here, GBU-10s, as well as some air-to-air weaponry. But their mission is to hit the base. So once we've double-clicked on the airbase, we can select the flight of F-15Es, and then we need to tell them where to go. So we're going to right-click on the nuclear facility, because that's what we want to attack. And so we also want to avoid surface-to-air missiles if they pop up around here, because they might turn up on the radar as we get closer to the nuclear facility. And the Raptors are going to escort our F-15s. So at this point, we can start the time. And down here, you've got these different run times. 0x is just pause, 1x is real time. We'll select that. And so you can see things are starting to happen. But 1x is really slow. So we'll go up to 4x. That's about a good speed for a normal scenario. I'm going to go a little faster here because we want to get this done quickly for the sake of time. But you don't want to be going too fast because the enemy might throw some stuff at you, like enemy fighters or surface-to-air missiles. And that's going to come up in a minute here. So I'm going to go up to 10x until we see something. And you can see them going up the map towards the facility. And here we have something. So this red icon here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This is an flight of Su-30s. And you can click on them for some information, but it won't give you much. We just know that they're enemy aircraft. So what we can do with this is we can get our F-22s to intercept them. So we can right-click on the F-22. They're currently going here. You can see this white line is directing them to their current mission location. But then we can reassign them by just left-clicking on the Su-30. So they'll now go attack them. We could start up time again. And something else just popped up. This is a surface-to-air missile site. And this red circle around it is its effective range. So you don't want to fly into that red circle or else they're going to start firing missiles at you, which is bad. So you can see the red circle is pretty small right now. And that's because I have the F-22 selected. The F-22 is stealth. So it's better able to maneuver around the missile site. It's harder for the missile to detect it. The F-15E, however, you get this much larger radius of detection. So we want to guide the F-15E around that because we don't want them to get hit by missiles. We're going to go back. And you can see the enemy fighters are shooting at the F-15Es. The F-22 is going to engage here in a second. Our F-15Es have taken some losses. There's only 2 of them left. But the enemy fighter's been destroyed now. We can continue the attack on the nuclear facility. So if there's an enemy airbase, you generally want to have something with radar ability basically shining on that, making sure that nothing takes off from it that's hostile. I'm going to speed this up a little more. But yeah, you just want to watch the base, make sure nothing takes off from it, as something just did there. We were able to shoot him down. So once we get up close to the nuclear facility, we can have the F-15Es attack it just by right-clicking on the facility. First, we want to get them to low altitude because it's a ground target. And we'll just left-click on the base. I was able to damage it a little bit. So on the bottom right, above the map, you have this blue bar down here, which is basically determining, that counts up your points, and as you accomplish mission objectives, it will turn from red to blue. So at this point, we've accomplished most of our objectives, so it's mostly blue. The F-15Es don't have any more bombs, so we're just going to send them back to base. And that's pretty much it as far as directing fighters. For bombers, they generally they can be at a higher altitude if they're striking ground targets. And then another thing you may have to do is direct helicopters to rescue downed aircrew that may appear at some point during the mission. But there are other aspects to the game that aren't covered in this video, but this is just the basics. So, you know, how to select things, how to move around the map, and what your objectives are. So just make sure to pay attention to them when you're doing your individual scenario. And also doing the other practice missions can't hurt. So once the time limit's reached, the end of game window is going to pop up, so you can hit OK. And then it'll give you this victory dialogue or defeat dialogue, however it may be. And it'll show you any planes that you've lost and any planes that the enemy has lost. And then it tallies up your points down here and gives you the outcome, which in this case is Blue Coalition minor victory. So that's going to be it for this tutorial. I will have a Q&A session where I'll go over some other missions. And then hopefully you guys have fun with using the software, learning about how our air assets are distributed and used and what they can do. Yeah, that's all I got for now. So thank you for watching. Have a good one.